All right, everybody. So let's tackle this one here. And I'm going to show you 2 ways to get this one done. So number one, well, first, we're just trying to understand that we're trying to turn this into its factored form. And so the 2 methods I'm going to show you, the first one is going to involve just taking advantage of your answer choices. So everybody, let me just express to you what we have here in the answers. We have x plus whatever plus x, or times x plus the other number. What we end up getting is this. And what we want to understand is the rule that we follow is, hey, what are the factors of C that add up to B? And that's exactly what this is here. These 2 numbers, A and B, or 11 and 9, 12 and 8, 12 and 8, 96 and 1, those multiply to this last number. And then, how do we get this middle one? These numbers add up to the middle number. So if you don't believe me, let me go ahead and show you. Let me go ahead and let's say take answer choice A. It's incorrect, but I'm going to take answer choice A, and I'm going to show you how this technique works, just working backwards using the answer choices. -9. All right, everybody, here we go. Let's distribute. We have x times x, so that'll end up being x squared. Then from there, we have x times -9. Everybody, x times -9, that'll be -9x. From here, we'll have -11 times x, and so that'll be -11x. And lastly, we have -11 times -9. Quick question, everybody. A negative times a negative gives us a what again? Yeah, negative times negative, that'll give us positive, and then 11 times 9, that'll be 99. So positive 99. Now, when you have these 2 values here in the middle, again, these are common terms. These are like terms. So we have -9 minus another 11, and that's going to leave us at -20. So we have x squared minus 20x plus 99. So let me just prove this to you, everybody. Here's what we did. -11 times -9 gave us positive 99. These 2 multiply to the C, multiply to the last value. These 2 add up to the middle value. -11 plus -9, -20. Everyone, before I continue, do you see the little shortcut here? Do you see that you can multiply those 2 numbers to see if it gets the last number, and then you can add them together to see if it gets you the middle number? Remember, it's the factors, what multiplies up to C, and then what adds to get the B. So let me know if that makes sense before I show you how I'm going to go through the rest of the answers to show you which is the actual correct answer. Yeah, and again, I'm going to be very clear here. A is incorrect because if you take a look, everyone, we got x squared minus 20x. Sure, that's correct. But then look at the last part, everybody. Is 96 the same as 99? It's not. So that's how we know it's not the correct answer. Do you see that? We saw that, hey, look, -11 and -9 when we did all the work here. Yeah, that does get us that -20x for sure. But it does not finish the job at the end. 96 and 99 are not the same. So now let's go ahead and show the rest of this. Let's go ahead and take a look at B. Everyone, what is -12 times -8? What's that going to be? -12 times -8. If we do that in our heads very quickly, yeah, that's a positive 96. Everybody, does that line up with what we're supposed to have at the end? Oh yeah, it does. Absolutely. So cool, I'll check that off. Now, what does -12 and -8, what do they add up to? -12 with another -8. If I add them together, yeah, that's going to be -20x. So take a look, everybody. Is this correct? X squared minus 20x plus 96. Is this correct? Do those 2 numbers multiply to 96 and add to -20? Yes, they do. And there we go. So that's how we can get the answer correct if you just wanted to go through and just check which answer adds up. If you're faster at multiplying and adding, then I would recommend using the answer choices. But if you're faster at actually factoring, then go ahead and go with the factoring technique. So I'm not going to cheap you out, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and actually perform this. X squared minus 20x plus 96. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay out those factors of 96. We can do 1 times 96. We can do 2 and 48. 3 could be 3 and let's say 32, it looks like. That doesn't add up to negative 20. We also could do 4, 5, 6, all that stuff. But eventually we're going to get up to 8 and 12. And here's what you need to realize, everybody. Once we're here, we have to multiply up to get a positive 96. Again, that's a plus 96, everybody. Question. Can I add 2 positive numbers to get a negative number? Does that work, everybody? Are these numbers both going to be... Yeah, it doesn't work. 8 times 12 sure is positive 96, but 8 plus 12 is positive 20, not negative 20. So here's what I need to do. I'm going to need to make both of them negative, because guess what? A negative times a negative is still positive. And then negative 8 plus negative 12 gets us to that negative 20. And so we'll do the same thing that we've always done. We'll set up our placeholders with the x in front. We have a negative 8, a negative 12, and there we go. We get the same exact correct answer. Nice and easy. Solve for x. So the equation states 8x plus 15 equals 79. So here's what we're going to do, everybody. What we need to do is we've got to go ahead and map out the order of operations going forward, and then we work backwards. That's what solving equations are all about, working backwards. So here we go. We have the x right over here, no other x's. We just see the x right there. And what we need to do is we have an 8 right here, and we have a 15. As a reminder, everybody, even though we don't see the operation, what operation is happening between the 8 and the x? Even though we don't see it, the operation that's happening between those two values is multiplication, yeah. So with that, when it comes to the order of operations, I know that I would multiply by 8 first. And then from there, after I multiply by the 8, then I would multiply whatever, or I would add whatever I have with that 15 right here. So we're good. Working backwards, we'll take one piece at a time. Working backwards, coming from the outside in, the opposite of plus 15 is minus 15. And so we'll do that on the left and the right sides. Once we do that, cancels out on the left, leaving us with 8x. And that's going to be 64 on the right. 79 minus 15, that gives us 64. Now from here, the last thing we need to do is the opposite of multiplying by 8. The opposite of multiplying by 8 will be dividing both sides by 8. And everybody, 64 divided by 8 leaves us with what? Yeah, leaves us with 8. There we go. And so the correct answer here, my party people, is answer choice A. If you wanted to go the route of plugging each of those values in, you absolutely could have done that. But if we would have used the principles of solving equations, there we go. We get that same correct answer, nice and easy and confidently, and we're good.